Evening, everyone. Welcome back in here. We got our core, part of the core group here tonight, coming at you on a Tuesday. Gonna finish our offensive side of the ball. We've gone through rankings pretty much for everything except now we're going to do the total offense. Before a couple of weeks, we'll switch over to the defensive side of the ball. So this will be the final one. So pretty interesting results came out of it. So we'll jump into that in a minute. But as we always do, let's go through and kind of introduce you to who we got on stream tonight. We got the leader of the crew, Mr. Robert at WTP for Life. What's going on over there? I've already told him, everybody. So anybody in the chat, don't mess with him about that burnt orange shirt. And I've already told him I need to buy him another one. So
everything's going good with me, man. I'm glad to be here tonight, ready to talk some of these top 10 offenses in college football that we think is going to be the top 10 offenses in college football in 2026.
For sure. Below him, sitting there, coming to us out of the state of Indiana with all the legends on the wall behind him. He's probably going to be on there one day. It's Mr. Postgame. What's going on?
Man, if I'm on that wall, it's because of my children, man. But hey, man, I'm glad to be here. Always a pleasure to chop it up with y'all on these great sports topics that we present to the people. How y'all doing tonight?
Doing good. And last but not least, we have our man One Take Zaya down there. It's one take, many takes, but he has one take on everything you want to talk about. This man is on top of his stuff. What's going on with you, Zay?
Man, what's cracking with y'all, man? Y'all good? How y'all feeling today?
I'm good. Got off work at a decent time for once. So, interested to go through this. So, as always, we had 6 people vote. This is how we come up with our rankings. For anybody new in the chat, 6 of us on the team sent in our lists. I added them up, tabulated them, 10 for first place, 1 for 10th place, and then went through and added everything up. And here we come with the official WTP Sports Dudes 2026 offenses in college football. So without further ado, we'll jump into some of the others that got votes. They got their votes in the top 10, but not quite enough to make the top 10. And that's going to start off with Houston received 1 vote and Texas Tech received 2. Stat on Texas Tech, these were sent in before Brendan Sorsby thing went down. So people decided to leave it like it was. So we'll jump into Robert. You were the one person who had Houston in their top 10. What is it about this Houston offense you're looking to like it here coming up?
I mean, they have a veteran quarterback. Anytime you have a veteran quarterback and you can surround him with some of that talent in Texas that might have not made it to one of the premier schools there in the state of Texas, your Texas A&M, some of those schools, they're still going to have a whole bunch of talent there, guys who want to stay and play college ball in the state of Texas. I think year in and year out, we've seen that Houston has had some really talented offenses. And last year they had a really good offense. They got a veteran quarterback that's back again for, I believe, his senior year or his last year. I think this offense can be dynamic, and it's in a wide open offense conference. So you already know they are going to be ready to make some things happen. I really like this Houston offense, and I think they could possibly be one of the top 10 offenses in the country.
For sure. I mean, they're definitely going to have talent down there, and like you said, the quarterback being a senior does help. We'll let Zay jump in. He is one of the ones that had Texas Tech in his top 10. Do you still feel that way with the whole Sorsby situation, or do you think it really didn't make that much of a difference?
Yeah, nah. I'm a huge fan of Will Hammond. I think he got a lot of valuable reps last year. I think he could still be what they need for real. And I think they got so much talent across the board that they could still win that conference. It's just I know Will Hammond been banged up this summer, but if he can progress, I think he right on pace to fall in line of a top six or all they really need is like a top 5 or 6 quarterback with as much talent that they got on that roster.
Any thoughts post game on any of those two, Houston or Texas Tech? I know you had mentioned Amari Thomas in our chat about how good he was. Anything on those two?
Yeah, I like the Houston offense. I like that pick. I mean, when you talk about getting Connor Wegman, when you go get a Makai Hughes and then Thomas, as we talked about in the chat, I could see Houston being a really explosive offense. They got a couple of transfers on that offensive line. It's going to be interesting to see if they can gel. But Houston definitely I think is going to be one of the better offenses in the Big 12 conference for sure.
Houston had a good year last year, and I think that only gets better with the experience coming back that they've got. But like Zay said, it's a wide open conference. I mean, I think even with Texas Tech, I think it's still wide open. I think it's anybody's conference. So I'm gonna let postgame jump off on the next school because he and I are the only ones that had this in our top 10. Both of us had Oklahoma State. They got 3 votes. Bama and Georgia each got 4, which kind of shocked on that. But post game, go with Oklahoma State there. What do you like about it?
I mean, I like the fact that the coaching staff, the head coach, and a lot of the players are coming over from North Texas. North Texas was an exciting team to watch. Drew Mestermaker, the quarterback that Oklahoma State has now, I think he has one of the best stories ever. I think he can really sling the ball. And at the running back position as well, getting Caleb Hawkins, who I think is going to be trouble in that conference. So I really like this Oklahoma State offense. I think if all goes well, they can be a dominant offense in the 2026 college football year.
100% agree with that. Georgia, only one person put them in their list, and that person is not joining us tonight. That was Mossberg had them at number 7 on his list. My thoughts on Georgia is I just think Georgia's going to be Georgia. They're going to want to run the ball and then do what they do, ball control, take care of it, and then play defense. And then that's just kind of what I think you're going to see from Georgia. You're going to see Georgia you've always seen, just rinse and repeat Georgia here. Bama was a little shocking. Doug, who's not on, he's in the comments. He mentioned one take was on it with the Will Hammond. He said he likes Will Hammond, but he just posted in saying Keelan will average 3 touchdowns a game. I don't know about that. That might be a stretch for a kid who's just now coming into play in the SEC. So anything from any of y'all, Robert, Post, Zay, anybody got anything? Think one of these teams, obviously I think me and Post agree Oklahoma State could make a pretty substantial jump here. Kind of shocked Bama only got 4 votes and Georgia as well. Does that shock anybody?
I wasn't shocked by the fact that Alabama and Georgia only got 4 votes. We know that Alabama's got some wide receivers that are nice with Ryan Williams, but they're bringing in a very new quarterback. Even though he's a dual threat guy, he's first year starting, so we can't expect him to be like some of the more seasoned, experienced dual threat quarterback. So I don't expect a whole lot of, and then we don't know what their run game is going to look like because we don't know if their offensive line is really going to actually be any good to be able to help him out with the run game, to be able to, for him to be able to use his legs and for him to be able to throw the ball as well. So we don't really know. There's too many unknowns about Alabama to put them up there high for me. And then Georgia, on the other hand, we know they play ball control offense. They're not one of those teams that is going to try to blow you away offensively. They want to play good defense and control the clock with the run game and the short game with their tight ends and stuff like that. So you never see Georgia having a juggernaut of an offense unless they got those wide receivers like they had in the past. But we don't see them doing too much of that lately. They're more of a tight end kind of oriented offense. So I just don't think Georgia will be that good. But Oklahoma State, on the other hand, they got an offensive-minded coach who's going to sling that thing in a wide-open conference, like I said before, in the Big 12. They like those spread offenses, and I think this quarterback and that coach is going to have a lot of fun and bring back some of that Blackman kind of offense back in the days when they had Blackman as the wide receiver there. So I'm anxious to see what Oklahoma State is going to do offensively.
Man, they're going back to the Blackman and Des Bryant days.
Yeah.
You.
Gave my long
Go ahead, Zay. I had to throw that Des Bryant in.
Yeah, out of all these teams on the board right here, I think Oklahoma State has the best possibility of being the most explosive offense out of all these schools. But no, he pretty much tapped into it about Georgia. I had Georgia right on the cusp of that though, because I think their run game is going to be so strong this year that teams is going to have to load the box, which is going to leave somebody like London Humphreys to probably get a little loose. But I don't think I got enough faith in their other weapons. That's why I didn't throw them in my top 10. Bama, they can have a high ceiling too. We'll see how the quarterback position play out. We know about Ryan Williams over there. We'll see how that run game take a turn this year. But like Keelan Russell, if he is the one that wins the job, the type of athlete he is, I think could take their offense to a new level this year. But we got to see it. So I expect all these offenses to play well at times this year, but something gives me hiccup with Georgia and Bama, and even Oklahoma State taking a level up. All their players coming from North Texas. We got to see if they can play on this level. Bama, we know they got a offensive friendly coach, but we at times last year it got rocky, and then like I said, Georgia, I just don't trust the weapons on the outside. But Oklahoma State and Georgia, I think both of them should be in the running to win their conference. Bama, I think they're going to take another step back, possibly.
Any thoughts on Georgia-Bama post-game?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia and Bama, I could see being explosive offenses. I think Georgia and out both of them, man. I think they both are right on the cusp. It wouldn't surprise me if either one of those teams ended up being top 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's, my thing is Georgia, we all know what they're going to do. Bama is kind of the unknown, and so is Oklahoma State. They use right on. We don't know what those guys at Oklahoma State are going to do. But if they do anything like they did last year, the Big 12 might be in for a rude awakening with Oklahoma State creeping back in. Bama, I don't know what to expect from them. I'll tell y'all that point blank. I saw on another show that ranked all the units of the SEC, and Bama was like 9th in offensive line, 8th in running backs. I mean, that's unheard of for Bama to be that low in the SEC. So we'll see what Bama can do. Hit some of these comments we've had. Let's see. Where'd Moss go? Moss said Oklahoma State will be scary good. We'll run through these before we get to the top 10 here. Moss, also appreciate you jumping in the chat too. Doug, level up 10. Gunner will be back during his title run. Yeah, that's all they need him to be. Just don't turn it over. Yeah, remember they have a run game now. Moss making a bold prediction here that Ryan Coleman Williams will be explosive at Bama again this year. Somebody thinks I'm a bum. That's nice. Let me see who's this. Yes, sir. Georgia run game is good. I said it. Well, apparently I got benched in high school, and I'm talking about college football. So we'll see. And then Bedlam will be real this year, but we'll see what that all goes. Didn't know I got benched. Crazy. Jumping in number 10. This was really interesting to me. USC came in with 10 total points. And we're going to start with Zay on this one. I'm going to go Zay, Post, and then up to you, Rob. And the reason is Zay and Post, neither one had them in their top 10. And I was really kind of, with all the weapons that Lincoln's accumulated out there, I really expected they would be in everybody's top 10. So I'm curious as to why they were left off. So the floor is yours, Zay.
I mean, they returned their running back, their running game, but receiver wise, them guys is unproven. I gotta see it. You know, I like my Lave. He had one of the best QBRs last year, but I gotta see it. You know, if I don't see proven guys, I can't just throw you out there. Now this can all change though. You know, by the way you perform on the field. So USC though, I gave thought about them being in my top 10 just because of the quarterback and running back situation is stable. The offensive line should be pretty solid, but I need to see what they replace Jacoby Lane and Mekhi Lemon with.
Yeah, I agree with that. USC is one of those cusp teams for me personally. I like Jaden Mayava. I think he got the goods. I think that kid is the real deal. But like Zay just mentioned, the loss of their big time wide receivers, do they have somebody on this roster who's going to step into those roles and make plays down the fields? I'm not saying that won't be the case, but again, like Zay said, I got to see it first. Like the quarterback, like the run game, I want to see which one of those receivers is going to step up this season.
I mean, they were in my top 10 because I feel like, man, anytime you got Lincoln Riley, you got a returning quarterback that has been in your system for a year, and he's back, and then you got a good running game, you going to have some wide receivers on that roster because they were behind two dudes. So you know that they were probably dudes too. They just couldn't get ahead of those two dudes that was on the field. And you know, anytime Lincoln Riley is coaching the team, you know, offensively they're going to be some dudes. So I went on face value on what I think Lincoln Riley is going to have in his stable waiting to play this year. So I felt like they would be a top 10 offense because of him, the fact that he got a returning quarterback, and the fact that they got a run game, which opens it up for everything else.
Yep, I put him in there based on what they've got, the quarterback and stuff. And I agree with you, Post and Zay too. You got to see it first. Which one's going to step up? I agree with that too. I'm really glad Mossberg's in the chat because he was one who didn't have them listed either. And so he chimed in on it. He put his honorable mention. He wants to see the proof. Pretty much what y'all said. A lot of teams losing weapons. And he said USC was his 11th, would have been his 11th on the board. So that's good. I was just curious when I didn't see him on there. So this one, scroll back up, is pretty low, I think, for a defending national champion. But I think, you know, it's what did they lose? It kind of had everybody think. I think this is kind of in the same boat as USC with we need to see. So, Rob, you can hit this one first. You had Indiana not in your list.
Yeah, I didn't have Indiana in my list because they're going to be playing a quarterback who is really, really good. But I don't know what they're going to have outside of Becker at the wide receiver position. I'm quite sure they got some dudes over there, but I don't know how good they're going to be. Indiana's offense was good last year because of their run game and because of their offensive line. All of those guys were veterans. I don't know if they're going to have the same kind of veteran production on this team this year. They got Hoover, who was really nice, but I don't know if they got the other pieces around them. I'm going to have to wait and see what Indiana looks like. And the teams that I put on there ahead of them, I think just has better personnel right now. So I feel like they weren't going to be in my top 10 for those various reasons.
In post game, you had them 6 on your list, I believe. Well, what are you thinking of Indiana there?
Yeah, I'm kind of like shocked. Indiana at 9th, to me, I don't know, but I like this Indiana team, man. I like the fact that they were able to get in the portal and get Nick Marsh. You get the quarterback from TCU, Josh Hoover. I like the addition of Turbo Richardson from Boston College as well. I think they're going to be one of the better offenses in the nation. And couple that with the fact that both of their receivers could end up when the season is over, both being in the top 10. So I'm high on Indiana this year.
What you guys say?
Yeah, post game mentioned the name Turbo. Man, I think y'all need to do some research on Turbo. The run game should be all right. They got 4 seniors on that starting line. So that's an older group as well. You pair Nick Marsh with Charlie Beckers. I like what Indiana got. I don't think they really gonna miss too much of a step for real from what they had last year. I think Josh Hoover's ceiling actually can be a bit higher than what what's our guy's name that just won the Heisman? Fernando Mendoza. I think his ceiling from just a portal perspective and what he did at his previous school is probably a little higher than what Fernando Mendoza looked like when he was coming from Cal. So I don't know, man. I think Carsonetti kind of figured this portal thing out, and I think this offense, if it go right, it could actually be better than what they had last year.
Yeah, and Moss had him 9th. He chimed in with, this is a team I want to see the first few weeks and then rank them. He likes Marsh. He also said that he liked Hoover too. Guys from TCU. I like Hoover. I think he's good. I want to see how his game translates to the Big Ten. It's a little bit different than the Big 12. I'm not saying it's going to be a super struggle for him, but it is a different ball game in the Big Ten. So I want to see that. I do like Nick Marsh. I think that's going to be huge, but it's a team that I really had 11th on my list, kind of like Moss with or Moss with USC was 11th. That's kind of where I had Indiana. But I'm still shocked post game, kind of like you are, that they're that low on this list. I thought for sure Indiana was going to tune in the 5 to 6 range. Moving on. A team that probably has more upside potential than anybody says, but we'll jump down there to the Lane Kiffin show in LSU. And let me see. There it is. Doug didn't have him on the list. Obviously, he's not here. We'll let hit this one first with what his thought. Doug, or Zay and I both had him at 9th, but I'm going to let Post start on his thoughts on LSU. I got to remember where you had him. You had him 7th.
Yeah, this is a really interesting team, offense in particular, as we are counting down our top 10 offenses. The question is, they were able to accumulate a lot of talent via the transfer portal. So my thing is this: I have faith in the coach in Lane Kiffin. I have faith in the offensive coordinator and Charlie Weiss Jr. I think those are some really sharp offensive minds. And I'm for sure know they're going to get that offense clicking. The question for me is when are they able to gel this season and get that thing cranking down in Baton Rouge, or is it going to take a year or two? That's my question about this LSU team. But I would not be surprised if they came out this season clicking on all cylinders and are one of the better offenses in the country.
Rob, what do you LSU? Where'd you have LSU? Let me look real quick. I gotta remember what Rob had them. I got too many papers. You had them 6.
Well, this is strictly because of who they got on the offensive coaching staff. When you got Lane Kiffin and his teams have been in the top 5, top 10 in the country every year, his offense is there. Even when he first got to Ole Miss, they were there. Wherever he was before then, when he was at Alabama, they had a really good offense. Of course, he went to FIU or someplace like that before he got to Ole Miss. He always had one heck of an offensive team, and now he has Weiss with him too. Man, they're going to be unbelievable, and I'm strictly going off of what I know those coaches are going to be able to do with the talent that they got on that LSU team. That's why I had them 6 on my list, because I think those coaches are going to get every single bit of that talent out of those players.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I feel like I put LSU in my top 10 strictly because I think Lane Kiffin is the best offensive mind in college football. I think the receivers that he got out of portal, I wasn't too familiar with. I seen the one kid that came from Stanford had almost a stack last year, but I ain't watched too many Stanford games, so I ain't gonna act like I laid eyes on this kid. But I think he found what he needed in the portal for his offense to work, and I think he gonna introduce us, to some players that maybe we was slept on because they played at some programs that wasn't very good last year.
What you got, Post, on LSU?
I went first.
Well, you may have gone first. I've lost track of everything here. I'm trying to shuffle papers and everything over here. Yeah, LSU. I think they've got all the talent in the world down there. The biggest question for me is Sam Levitt. That is a very, very, very re-injury prone injury that he has, that foot. That can happen again real quick, and if that happens, you've got everything's got to gel too. And he hasn't practiced all spring. I think I'll tell you, I'm extremely happy that my Aggies get them in week 4 and not week 9. I can tell you that much. Yeah, that's not a lie, Moss. Too much coffee. I got paper shuffling. I got bowls falling. I got everything going on over here.
You on mute, SEC?
I'm trying to scroll. This one is really low in my mind. I really thought, based on our rankings of our positions earlier, coming in at number 7 with 22 votes is Mississippi. And Post, you jump on this one first. That way there I can know where I'm at again. You had them 8. That was, I think, the lowest we had them ranked from anybody. So kind of curious, knowing we have Chambliss and Lacey there. Besides, I'll let you go, but I'm pretty sure I know where you're going with your concerns. But what you got for your concerns there?
Well, I love Trinidad Chambliss and Keywan Lacey. I think those are NFL players for sure. It's just the fact that I think they're going to be explosive. I definitely think they're going to be a top 10 offense coming into the season. And for the duration, my only concern is the loss of offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss Jr. and Lane Kiffin, that head coach. Can they are they still going to be a dynamic offense to the level they were last season under that coaching staff? That's my only concern. But I know those guys are going to ball out on the offensive side of the ball. I just don't know if it'll be to the same level as they did last season.
Zach, thoughts on Ole Miss?
Yeah, I had Ole Miss at like 5 or 4 or something like that. Uh, I don't really think that Lane Kiffin is going to be that much of effect on them because they have an old quarterback. Like this is like his 6th or 7th year playing college football. So I think just with all the reps and experience that he had and the explosiveness of Keywan Lacey, I think they gonna be hell to deal with, man.
Rob, what
Yeah,
about what
I
about
really
you? You
like
had
that.
them.
Oh, my
Where,
bad.
where'd you have them, Rob? You had them 7. You had them 7.
Yeah, I just really feel like whenever you got a Trinidad Chambers as a player who can extend plays, and even if he don't have the wide receiving core that he had last year, the fact that he can extend plays and make it very difficult on defensive backs to be able to stay and contain the wide receiver or tight end or running back, whoever's in those pass routes, is going to be very, very difficult. Then when you got a running back who you can hit the ball to out of the backfield or get the ball to running the running game in Lacey, it's just going to be dynamic. So I think that they're going to be a top 10 offense. Even though they lost Weiss and Lane, I think that's going to affect them a little bit, but eventually they're going to get back clicking, man. And I think they're going to be one of the top 10 offenses in the country because of those two dynamic players they got in Lacey and Trinidad Chambers.
Yeah, I actually had them 9th. Love Lacey and Chambliss. Concerned about the receiver position, concerned about the offensive line, and concerned about the coordinator change. That's my main concern. But they've got some studs. They got some dudes that are going to be fun to watch. The next one's really, really interesting, and I'm going to let Zay go first on this one because he was the only one that had this certain team ranked below their rival. Next on our list is A&M. You had A&M ahead of Texas in your rankings, and I'm really curious on this one.
Yeah, man. Listen, I like the staple of running backs y'all got over there, Sean. I like the addition of Horton. Craver's gonna be electric. I think the fact that I had them above Texas really only dealt with a lot of y'all's main pieces is there. It's not like y'all got to really work through something. Like Marcel Reed was throwing the ball to Craver last year. You know, y'all went through about 3 or 4 running backs that you was content with last year. I think y'all got 2 of those guys back. So I just think it's a little bit more continuity over there this year than what Texas is. They kind of cleaned the slate. I think it might take them a second for it to all the way click. But I think their ceiling is higher than y'all's. But to start off the season, I probably would take an A&M offense first.
Fair enough. And Post, let you jump on. You had A&M 10th on your list.
Yeah, I like this Texas A&M offense. I like what Coach what's his name? Elko, Mike Elko. I like what Elko. I'm sorry. I like what Mike Elko is building down there. You talk about a Craver. A lot of it is me projecting Marcel Reed getting better and becoming a better quarterback. You know, less turnovers, less interceptions. I know y'all got a new offensive coordinator. That should be a big help for Marcel Reed this season. But the problem I have with Texas A&M being this high, and it might be a problem, it may not be a problem, is how quick can that offensive line gel? Y'all gonna have a lot of new starters down there. Do they have the talent to be a good unit? Absolutely. But talent is one thing. You got to gel. Your offensive line has to be moving like one unit. So that was my only concern. But other than that, man, I really like this A&M offense.
And Robert, I'll let you go here because I didn't want you to go first because I didn't want you to turn green having to talk about A&M on screen. So I want you to go last.
Well, I'm glad I got to hear one take Zaya's explanation for why he had Texas A&M ahead of Texas, because I was starting to think that he was kind of psyching himself out because of the week 2 matchup between my Longhorns and his Ohio State Buckeyes. And he had to have something to feel good about so he won't be so frightened about that date coming up in September. So I'm glad I got to hear his explanation, and I liked it. So I really feel like this Texas A&M offense is going to be good. You got Marcel Reed in his 3rd year. He got a familiar receiver. He got familiar running backs. The offensive line is going to have to do some things because they're going to be relatively new with each other. But I think that whenever you got a quarterback with that much experience who played really, really well last year in comparison to how well he played in his sophomore year, I think they're going to be in really good hands. He has a go-to wide receiver. They picked up Horton, I believe, in the portal. So that's going to be another good combination. I really want to see Terry Bussey turn the corner. If he does, this offense can really be phenomenal. I think they're going to be good. I just don't know a whole lot about Holman Wiggins and what he's going to be able to do with that talent that he has. But I guess we'll have to see. But I still think they're going to be a top 10 offense for sure in college football next year.
Yeah, I mean, my Aggies, your spot, we do have 2 running backs back, but it's time for Reuben Owens and Terry Bussey both to do something. These were both 5-star, top of their blue chip recruits, and they've underperformed a lot. So they need to take a step. Holman Wiggins, I mean, we'll see what he does. He was kind of co-OC at Alabama when they were rolling under Saban, so not too concerned there. Offensive line is a big issue for me, but I will say I'm grateful that we didn't lose a lot of depth from our younger high school recruits that were younger to the transfer portal. They all stayed. So really excited for that. So we'll see how it leads. But the key to any offense is going to be, what does Marcel Reed do? So we'll have to see how if he takes another step, this could be a really, really, really dynamic offense. So we'll see where it takes us. Next, we'll let postgame go last. We're rolling into his team. We'll go Rob Zay postgame on this one. We're going to jump to the Fighting Irish with 37 total votes. I will say I'm kind of shocked they were low. I expected them to be one in the top 3 to 4, but here we sit. So what do you guys say? Give me Notre Dame. Or Rob, go ahead and go, Rob. There he goes. I thought Zay was tied up.
Oh, yeah. I thought you said Rob first. My bad. Man, the only question I got is, what do they replace Jeremiah Love with? I like CJ Carr and what I seen from him last year. I think he's going to make that step to where he's going to probably be in New York by the end of the year when it's all said and done. And I like that they got weapons everywhere. It's a lot of weapons in that receiver room. And, listening to post game, that offensive line should be up for the offensive line of the year award with the Joe something award, So really the only question I have is that run game going to be sufficient enough to where it's not all going to be on CJ Carr's shoulders? That's all I want to see. I had them at 4 on my list. I think if you got a top 4 offense, top 5 offense, you're clearly a national title contender.
Yeah, I really like this Notre Dame offense for the simple fact that that now that they don't have Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love, they're going to have another good running back too, that's going to be able to do the thing. But the fact that now this year you're going to really get to see CJ Carr really use his wide receiver and his tight end even more so this year to make that offense a lot more complete. We got to see them do a lot with the running back position. I think this year we're going to get to see them do a lot more in the passing game because they got running backs that are not Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love. Even though I know they're going to be good, I think it's going to really open up this offense even more because they're going to allow CJ Carr to do more than what he did last year. So I think this offense is going to be really good, and we're going to get to see those talented receivers that they have and the tight end really take off this season.
It's on me.
Yep, it's all you.
Right on. I had, excuse me, I had Notre Dame 5. I really like. I like how this offense is built. It's kind of built differently than a lot of teams of the past at the University of Notre Dame. A lot's being said about losing Love and Price, and I get it. But I mean, yeah, we gotta think there's been great running backs before that were lost. A team just has to reload. Aeneas Williams and Kedron Young are monsters in their own right. And I think if there's a trade-off, Notre Dame loses elite talent at running back, but they gain elite talent on the offensive line. I don't expect them to have a Love or a Price, but they'll be efficient at the running game. But the thing that excites me about this Notre Dame offense is having a quarterback in his second year under Mike Denbrock. We've seen what that did for Ritter at Cincinnati. We've seen what that did for Daniels down at LSU. Quarterbacks in their second year under Mike Denbrock take off and have monster years. So that's what I'm excited about most when it comes to the Fighting Irish and their offense.
Yeah, with the progression Carr made, I've mentioned it with you numerous times from where he was against the A&M game. The progression he made throughout the rest of that year, you could see the growth, and you can only imagine a second year in that is going to be even more. So Carr is definitely special. Notre Dame should have been higher on this list. I'm not going to lie. One of us on this screen right now had Notre Dame as their 9th best offense. I'm not going to mention any names, Robert, about who did that. Oh, sorry. I give a shout out to Postgame and myself, though, for not being straight homers and putting our teams in the top 3. Everybody else put their own team in the top 3. So good job, Post. Proud of you.
Oh, yeah. We got to keep it funky.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on up the list, we're going to roll Post, Zay, Rob, because we're going to talk about his one beloved Texas Longhorns coming in at 4th. They got 45 points. The 2 would be first place votes received. And those 2 teams that voted them one, believe it or not, was Postgame and Doug. Robert did not put them number 1. So shocking for a Longhorn not to just put them number 1 in everything. But that's all right. So Postgame, let me hear your thoughts on Texas.
Yeah, Rob, you too hard on your Longhorns, man. But no, listen, man, I love what I see, when it comes to Texas and this offense. You talk about it all starts with Arch Manning at the quarterback position. Seeing last year him go through his ups and downs, and then at the latter part of the season kind of figure it out. That's an elite quarterback in my eyes. That's a Heisman candidate. Getting Cam Coleman in the transfer portal, and you add him with Ryan Wingo, that's going to be devastating to deal with on the outside. And then you talk about their running backs. To me, this is what, if I'm a Texas fan, this is what I would be most excited about. When you talk about getting Raleek Brown and Hollywood Smothers out of the transfer portal, I think these 2 are going to be dynamic. The only question, I think Texas is going to be the number 1 offense in college this year. because you parlay all that what I just said with the fact that they got Steve Sarkisian as their head coach. The only thing that worries me a little bit about Texas is if they can figure out that offensive line. If that offensive line can be dominant, Texas is going to be a very hard team to stop on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I had Texas a bit down my sheet. I think they came in at number 8 for me, and it really is based on that offensive line. Um, I just don't. I didn't see it with Trevor Gooseby last year. Hopefully, he can make that step. But I think their team and their success is really going to come down to Gooseby and Siani on that other side. If those guys play well, Texas is going to be hard to beat, and they need to be hard to beat because they got a monster schedule ahead of themselves this year. So, um, I think Brandon Baker getting pushed in the guard is a perfect fit. I think he was a guard all along. I never thought he was a tackle, just seeing him. Um, but that offensive line, man, they got everything else. But can that offensive line take a step this year and kind of be the anchor of that team? Because that's all they really need. They got everything else.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Steve Sarkisian can do with the talent that he has on this Texas offense, especially when you get a guy like Arch Manning, who last year didn't get a chance to really connect with his wide receivers because they were so injured and he didn't get to spend a lot of time with them. But in the offseason, that's all he's done this whole entire offseason is get together with those wide receivers in their spare time to make sure that they can get on the same page, get in rhythm with each other. And I think it's going to be phenomenal. Whenever you couple Ryan Wingo with Cam Coleman, who Cam Coleman is going to take a lot of that weight off of Ryan Wingo's shoulders, that's going to allow him to play a lot better. And then I think Emmett Mosley is probably going to be a sneaky surprise in terms of the fact that you got to worry about Wingo and Coleman, that there are going to be times when Emmett Mosley is going to take advantage of the opportunities that he's going to get. Much like you've seen with those Ohio State offenses when they had the juggernaut, well, they always got the juggernauts, but when that third receiver gets an opportunity, he can really take advantage of things when they play a really good defense that try to take away the other two guys. To have that third guy is always special because you have a guy you can go to. And I think Emmett Mosley is going to fit that bill. But don't count out Sterling Burkhardt as well to transfer from Wake Forest. I think he's going to be that fourth piece that's going to allow Texas to have a lot of veteran wide receivers on the field at any given time and allow those younger guys to just play in spells, which is really going to help that Texas offense. And then when you throw in the two running backs they got with Smothers and Raleek Brown, the sky's the limit, man, because now you allow Steve Sarkisian to have a running back tandem that allows him to do more 12 personnel and also do more 21 personnel, which is two backs and one tight end. So I'm anxious to see what this offense is going to do because Steve Sarkisian is going to have some really veteran, proven weapons offensively that he's going to be able to play with.
We better sharpen it up before week 2.
Yeah. I like the points Rob made. It's going to be the reason why I'm so high on Texas is because it's like you got two running backs who are versatile running backs. These guys can catch passes and run the ball. And then you got Arch Manning's legs who can really put some holes in defenses this upcoming season. But when you think about that, them being able to suck the defense in the box, bring those safety downs because they're running the ball so successful, them needing to probably use a spy for Arch Manning, and then having those wide receivers one-on-one on the outside can be really explosive.
Yeah. Texas has all the pieces. One thing I'll say is looking back at some past Texas teams, there seems to be a common theme with them. And, It's the fact that if you go watch Texas's running game since Bijan left, it has been non-existent. They've had trouble blocking for the run game for years. And hopefully they get that fixed. Hopefully they get it fixed and then forget how to do it at the end of the season. But that's a different subject. But I think that's everybody's main focus with Texas is that offensive line. What are you going to get from them? We'll see how it plays out. But they definitely have all the pieces in place, which is scary. So
hold up, man. I got to give you some pushback now. Hold up.
Come on.
Bijan Robinson left. And then in comes in my man who at the time he was going to be the Doak Walker Award winner, but he got hurt against TCU. My man Jonathan Brooks, who was the number one running back picked in that draft that year. And then you couple that the following year with my man Trey Weisner, he hit 1,000. Now last year they sucked. I'll give you that. Last year they sucked.
No.
But the other 2 years,
they've struggled.
We are pretty good at the running back.
No, they've had trouble blocking for that running back, man. Come on. That running back. Go watch how many tackles. Go watch how many tackles the running back had to break.
Hey, they did, man. They did. But you weren't supposed to point that out, SEC Sean. You're just supposed to let me say what I had to say.
Well, I get that, but I'm not going to do that. I will say they couldn't run the ball at all last year until they came against our run defense. And then they figured out how to do it. So then again, I think we could have probably lined up and run against A&M last year. We got our buddy, Tech Man 9144 here. Glad he's in here. And he straight up made the comment, I think everybody's glad. I'm so glad this is over. You're not the only one. So.
Hey, old Texas man, we remember you saying that Sorsby should be allowed to play. We remember.
But now he's changed since the gambling stuff, and now he's come out with "In Him and I Trust," and I've seen him post that a couple times. So I'm going to give him a pass. Cody Campbell just had his dollar signs in his eyes too, so it's all right. So roll back up here. We'll go to Rob, Zay, and Post in this one. Coming in with 2 first-place votes, also with 49 total points, is the Ducks from Oregon. So we'll let Rob, Zay, Post.
Man, I really just feel like this Oregon offense, the what they got on the wide receiver position, if those 2 guys can stay healthy, and Evan Stewart and Decorian Moore, that's one of the best tandems in the country. Are they the best? I don't know if they're the best, but they're going to be definitely one of the best if they can stay healthy. Then they got a veteran quarterback who will be in his second year now, was third year in that system, but second year starting. I believe they got a good running back. They got a lot of veteran pieces on this team, and I think they're going to be really, really good. And like I said earlier, when you got a quarterback who is experienced, who is talented, and you get a chance to have him for another year, and he probably would have been the number 1 draft pick this year over Mendoza had he come out. I think you got a chance to really do something special at Oregon. And I think they're going to be really, really good. And I think their offense, I might have put them number 1 or number 2, somewhere around, and maybe 4, I don't know. Somewhere in the top 5 for sure. I put them number 1.
You had the 1.
Number 1. That's crazy work. I respect it, though. Hey, they got everything, They got 2 running backs. They even got 2 quarterbacks in my estimation. Offensive line, we know what type of money they got, so we know they got a good NIL package over there. They got the guys. One key name though, they got Iverson Hooks out of the portal, who they were really high on out there. I listen. I'm a Buckeye. I tap into a lot of different programs in the Big Tens, podcasts, here and there to check in to see because we play Oregon. So I want to know what they feeling out there. They are high on this kid from UAB, Iverson Hooks out there. Another small, fast guy. So you got him, DeCorian Moore, Evan Stewart, all out there. So they gonna have a lot of speed on that team to deal with. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not mad that Rob got him at number one. Like I feel like all these teams right here are pretty much interchangeable. It's just about what flavor. What flavor do you like?
Agreed. I like this Oregon offense. I think this has the potential to be their best one in the last few years. Dante Moore, I've always been really high on. It sucked that he was supposedly silently committed to Notre Dame, and they couldn't get him in that class. I'm really high on his talent. I think he's going to be better. He's only going to get better, and I don't think he's reached his peak. So I'm high on Dante Moore. You talk about the health of DeCorian Moore and Stewart and getting the receiver out of the portal, as Zay just mentioned. I think they're going to be a really formidable offense and one of the top. Got to be at least top three.
Anything else? Nothing else? Scroll back. Go to number 2, which this is probably one of the only polls that you will see teams get first place votes more than the top 2 teams and not be in the top 2 spots. Miami takes the number 2 spot with 50 points and 1 first place vote, which came from me. So we're gonna we'll go Zay post Rob, because Zay obviously there's one team left, and I think we all know who that is. So Zay, you'll go last on the next one. So we'll let you go first, over to post and up to Rob.
Yeah, there was only one hair that split Miami and my Buckeyes, and that's that they have a true freshman left tackle starting. Everything is set in stone. You got Cooper Barkate, you got Malachi Tony, Mark Fletcher, you got damn, why his name slipping my what's the quarterback?
Mensa.
Help me out.
Mensa.
Yeah, Darian Mensa. I don't know why these names are slipping my mind today. But they got everything you need. I ain't worried about no position on the offensive line. Jackson Cantwell was the number 1 offensive tackle in this recruiting cycle. But I expect freshman mistakes out of him. So the faster they can get him up to par, the better. But man, this offense is going to be fun to watch. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super high on this Miami offense this season. I think the world of their offense. I think their offense is going to be better than their offense from last season. I think getting able to bring Darian Mensa in, no matter if you liked how they got him or not, they still got him right. Getting him in the portal and bringing his buddy Cooper Barkate with him, I think this offense is going to be fantastic. And then you got Mark Fletcher at running back. Offense, they did lose some really elite offensive linemen. I expect them to just reload offense. Miami is known for recruiting the offensive line very well. So those guys got to gel, but I don't foresee a huge drop off, because that's what they do. They get talented offensive linemen. So I expect some huge numbers from Darian Mensa. And I would not be surprised if he's a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, I really like this Miami offense, man. When you got a running back, you got a quarterback, and you got dynamic wide receivers out there, and you can pretty much do whatever style of offense you want to run, you can do it. If you got to lean on the running game, you can do that. If you got to use the pass game, you can do that. If you want to throw screens, you can do that. Everything is wide open for this Miami offense, and I think they're going to be really, really good this year. I like the addition of Darian Mensa, who I think is going to really take this Miami offense over the top. He's going to be one of those quarterbacks that's going to be, I think, much more effective in this style than what we seen Carson Beck last year. Carson Beck was more of a game manager. I think we get Malachi Tony in year two, which we know he's going to be even more dynamic than what he was last year. He's probably going to become even more of a focal point of the offense to take some of that pressure off of Mensah and Fletcher. So I really like this Miami offense. I think they got all the pieces that they need, and they're going to be really good. How well they replace those two offensive linemen that they lost, it might even have been three, remains to be seen. But I think when you got that kind of talent at the skill position, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, I had them one, and Zay, you said it best. It was splitting hairs. It was a toss-up for me with these two. I did have them 1-2 in my ranking. So I just think the addition of Mensah, I think it's an upgrade over Beck at the quarterback position. I think Tony is Tony. He's going to be electric. Running back. Again, they lost some stuff off the offensive line, but I mean, they've always got linemen down there on both sides of the ball. So I went with Miami just on sheer flip a coin, to be honest. I would have had either one of these at number one and been fine with how it played out for me. So that's where I think Miami's at. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll go in reverse order. We'll just go down the list. Rob, Post, Zay. We'll let Zay finish up since we're going to hit his team. Coming on, pretty close though. 52 to 50 was the final total. So one or two places could have swung this. Actually, it did swing. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. All the way through this, Miami was leading all the way through. And Moss sent his in, and Ohio State was 2 on his list and Miami 5, and that was your point differential to flip Ohio State in front. So 52 points, one first place vote. Rob, this is your second week matchup that we've heard about once or twice on this podcast. So, you're going up against the number one offense according to the WTP Sports Dude. Y'all better be ready.
Well, the thing I can't understand, I could understand why Moss picked Miami at 5 since he been a Florida State fan. But man, listen, just because he lived close to campus don't mean he had to put Ohio State at 2. I mean, that I don't understand that at all, man. Why are they at 2? I think I put them at 2 too myself. So anyway, though, I think that whenever you got Jeremiah Smith, you got a returning quarterback, you got Bo Jackson at the running back position. You got everything you need to be a successful offensive team. And I think when you got Ryan Day, who is one heck of a head coach, offensive-minded guy, the sky's the limit. I think they're going to be able to plug and play at that wide receiver position after losing Tate, like we've seen them do for the last maybe 30 years. So I think they're going to be a really, really good offensive team. They probably won't do as well in week 2 against Texas, but all the rest of the games, they're going to be a top 10 offense for sure. Maybe even a top 2 offense, maybe even number 1, just not during week 2.
Yeah, I mean, great points by Rob. I mean, what more could I say? But I like this offense. It's going to be interesting to see how Arthur Smith changes things. What kind of we know the system Arthur wants to run, but how does that affect the Ohio State offense? Is it going to be a positive way or negative way? Is it going to be a better situation for Julian Sayin? That's yet to be seen, but I think Chris Henry is going to have a huge opportunity to eat and make a lot of plays with his athletic ability, his size. I do like their running game. I like their receivers, tight end position. They always have tight ends, so offensive line should be solid. I'm looking forward to Ohio State and that offense, man, under Arthur Smith. I want to see how they do.
Hey, the real reason Rob didn't put us number 1? Because he don't want to face the fact that he got to see that team in week 2. But when you look at this Buckeye team, what was the main reason, maybe the things ended last season the way it did? And I directly point back to this period, like experience. We return 4 out of 5 of the starters on the offensive line. Ian Moore, he's returning. He's a returning player that received a lot of reps last year. He's gonna slide in the left tackle, who happens to be probably the truest left tackle we had on the roster at all last year. And then we got both our running backs who were both true freshmen last year, and Bo Jackson and Isaiah West. There was best 2 backs we had on our roster last year. Now both of them will get all the carries from day one. Then I'm up and down about Julian saying we know how I feel about him, but at the end of the day, he's throwing the ball to Jeremiah Smith. How many things can go wrong when you throwing it to him? Shit, they can give me a helmet, I probably can get in the ball, and I can't throw nothing but more than about 30 yards. But the part
20.
where I put maybe 20, you might be right. I've never been a thrower, but I think the thing that separates this Ohio State offense is the X factor. It's Chris Henry Jr. Whenever it clicked for Chris Henry Jr. throughout this season, I don't think he is going to be week 1. It might be week 6, week 7. But whenever it clicks for him, it's probably nothing nobody is going to be able to do with Ohio State. Just those 2 targets alone. And then whoever else you want to throw out there, whether it's Brandon Ennis or Devin McEwen or Kyle Parker, one of these faster receivers that we got on the roster, it's just going to be a whole lot of hell to deal with. And it's all based on experience, though. All these guys pretty much started last year, and they just came back to run it back. I don't think nobody has the continuity that we got this year.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, these 2 were neck and neck for me, but I leaned Miami just on the sheer, like I said, flip of a coin. But Ohio State's got everything as well. I mean, quarterback, got receivers. I feel like Ohio State could loan receivers to other schools and still find receivers. So that's just kind of how I feel. Like, can we borrow one? We'll send him back in good health and all that, So running back, I think Bo Jackson, as a freshman last year, I think he came on really, really strong at the end, and I'm excited to see what he does in his second year. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I figured it was going to come down to one of 4 teams that would take the top of our list, and they all 4 pretty much separated. They were the only ones over 40 points on our list. So, Big Brother loves y'all. Hate him. And get out of here with that, man. What are you doing? Well, what are you doing?
Hey, Texas is y'all's big brother, man.
No. Remember, Texas doesn't exist if it's not for A&M buying them out.
Bro, did you just hit him with the Big Brother love you?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, they coming at me in the chat, man. So listen, I had to get some comeback.
Hey, I asked a question. He said he had Texas finishing at 6. Old Texas Tech man did. I simply asked 6th in the nation or 6th in the SEC. Because if 6th in the nation, okay, you're in the playoffs. But 6th in the SEC is probably going to mean they're throwing bombs at in Austin right now because things have exploded. So that's all I asked. You had to come in here with that. Come on, man. Get out of here with that.
Well, you put LOL behind it, so I thought you were throwing jokes.
Well, yeah, I put LOL behind it because I didn't know what he meant, and I was, it'd have been funny if he thought he had Texas finishing 6th in the SEC. Again, if y'all finish 6th in the SEC, everybody steer clear of Austin. It will implode. The egos will have nowhere to go, and the egos will just shut down. I just saw something to keep an eye on there post game, and Rob too. it appears that A&M and Texas are going to battle for John Meredith's services in the recruiting ranks. And it looks like Notre Dame has flipped linebacker Caden Anderson. They're now in the lead for Caden Anderson at linebacker over A&M. So,
hey man, Notre Dame is kicking butt and taking names and recruiting. I'm so proud of what Marcus Freeman is doing on the recruiting trail, man. I have never seen anything like this going back from Tyrone Willingham to Charlie Weiss, Brian Kelly, those guys. I've never seen recruiting like this.
yeah, I'll give it. I give Mike Elko so much credit for what he's putting together down there. We've always been able to recruit because we're in Texas. But he's going nationwide finding dudes. And he's put to where A&M is probably going to be in at least the top 10 every year in recruiting. And I give a lot of credit to Mike Elko to go out and get kids, not like Jimbo Fisher that just said, oh, you're a 5-star, I want you. You're a 5-star, I want you. Stars don't always mean anything. And we just came into Cleveland and took a kid out of Cleveland, out of St. Ignatius. Wide receiver, number 3 wide receiver in Ohio. So, just pretty interesting. It popped up on my feed about that. So I thought that was kind of interesting that it was Notre Dame, Texas, and A&M, all three kind of in a circle for those 2 players.
Yeah, that's a good point about stars too as well, man, because we've seen 5 stars not pan out. We've seen 2 and 3 stars be legendary players. I mean, Justin Jefferson didn't even have a star. So
yeah, I mean, it happens more often than no stars. How many kids have we heard of here recently, especially? He had no offers out of high school, and then he's up in New York for the Heisman presentation or something. You're just like, we got 2 5-stars at A&M, and I'm sure y'all have some that haven't lived up. Terry Bussey and Owens, they haven't. So you mentioned Jonathan Brooks earlier, Rob.
Texas like they were supposed to, they might be on the map.
Stop that. You remember Mac Brown told Johnny Manziel he would never play quarterback at the University of Texas. He would be a safety. Come on.
Hey, man, listen. Mac Brown, he dropped the ball on quite a few quarterbacks, bro. I love Mac Brown to death, but he dropped the ball on quite a few quarterbacks.
Right. Other than that, we've been going about 1 hour and 12. We're not going to jump into Sorsby because that'll take us forever to get through all that. I think everybody kind of saw this coming when the Attorney General of Texas tried to throw his weight around saying, if you block it, we'll sue you and all this. And the Big 12 saying, well, we can do our own thing. So I think we all saw this coming with Sorsby. Anything else y'all want to touch on? Anything going on with you, Zay? Anything you want to throw out? Post, Rob? Anything you want to throw out?
Well, I was interested to see what you were going to say about Jonathan Brooks.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks, a little crazy story. His cousins played at a little school in Texas called Shiner. Dalton Brooks is actually the safety at Texas A&M. And his brother Dylan Brooks went to Texas A&M Kingsville and played for the Javelinas down there. So crazy that, those 3 kids, and what they did in high school was insane. Jonathan Brooks was a monster at Hallettsville High School. He was insane. And the Brooks brothers, if you just look up YouTube videos of the Brooks brothers, what they were doing, Dylan Brooks, his older brother from Dalton, literally stiff-armed a guy 9 yards on the state championship game while he was running. Literally, the guy's soul left him. You saw it fly off in Cowboy Stadium. It was bad. So that was my thing on Jonathan Brooks. Just the amount of talent in that family is insane. I think there's another one too.
Yeah, them my cousins.
Yeah. Nah, if they were your cousins, you'd have been figuring out a way to get them to Ohio State.
Nah, I tell all my family to follow their hearts, man.
Oh, okay. That's awful nice of you. Damn it. So, without anything else, good stuff in the chat tonight. Mossberg jumping in, Doug, old Texas Tech man, whoever the guy is that wanted me benched in high school, I don't know, whatever. Good show tonight, guys. Appreciate the feedback and the intel. Next Tuesday is our schedule show, release show. I have the people that have already sent me their 12-week schedule. I have them printed out, and we'll go through them next Tuesday. That'll be our show next Tuesday. So if you're, interested in seeing how we do it, come on back on Tuesday and join us. If you're not, check out all the channels. Everything's scrolling at the bottom, guys and girls. Go like, subscribe, notification bell. We're live. Somebody's doing something almost daily. 2 shows on the weekends, 3 shows at least in the middle of the week. So go like, subscribe. Go find WTP Sports. Is it sportsdudes.com or sports.com,
Yeah.
Rob, the website? Is it sportsdudes?
sportsdudes.com.
Okay. Go check out the website. There's a link there. You can email, ask questions, topics for shows. You can catch WTP Sports Dudes on Patreon. You can catch it on Spotify. Takes a little bit after the stream's over for me to run everything over to Patreon, but we'll get it put up there and you can download it, listen to it on Spotify under WTP Sports Dudes. 2026, I think, is the name of the podcast. Post game's got tons of stuff going. He does lots of WNBA, especially. He's big in watching the WNBA and Notre Dame stuff and whatever. We're in a slow time of sports right now. You really only have baseball and the World Cup going on along with the WNBA. So this is the time to kind of check out some other sports you may not know anything about. And then other than that, gentlemen, we ain't got nothing else. We'll go ahead and send it on out of here and call her a night.
All right, y'all.
Nobody?
Peace.
All right. Peace out, everyone. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm not going to do it. I ain't going to do it.
Don't